Good evening, everyone. Ads here from Unity Trading Group. Welcome to your Monday night update. Very nice to be back in front of the charts after the nice weekend that we all had. Hopefully, you all recharged your batteries. Of course, before we start, tick the like button, press the like button, press the subscribe button, and of course, tick the little bell if you want to stay updated on all of our future content that's coming in on our YouTube channel and, of course, in our Discord. You can find that link down below. But without further ado, BTC. I feel a little bit rusty after the weekend, but we'll have a look at these charts, see where we're going, see where we've been, and where we can expect it to go. Of course, we had that rejection off our level of supply up the top there at $41,000 for Bitcoin, and we are trending at the level of demand that we identified over the course of the weekend. I did draw this trend line in there. We did have it's not a bad one. It's not too steep, which is good. But from the 27th of Jan, of course, to now, we are respecting this trend line to the upside, and we are making a upwards or ascending triangle structure, which, if you didn't know, usually breaks to the upside. However, that remains to be seen. There's a couple of things that I want to point out on the charts to really give us maybe some confidence for a break to the upside, if we want to call it that. But there's some points for both sides of the story in which you need to make your own call on. So what we're going to look at now, we've got the level of supply that we have been very, very well respected on. It is a high quality level of supply. It was formed just to the left here along this cluster of candles. I'm using a few different candles there to really gauge where this level is. So we've got the bottom of the candle just there, and of course we are using the candle next to it for a gauge of the upside on that level of supply. You can draw it from here to here if you really want to. That's a pass as well in my book, but I've just nipped it up a little bit to give us a better zone in terms of breaks and, of course, levels that we can use for stop losses and what have you. But BTC is being respected on this pullback at the moment. The pullback is to the most relevant level of demand at 38K. That is also a psychological round number. So the round numbers tend to be the psychological support. Of course, price really fluctuates, and it's really drawn to those 000 digits, I guess. 38,000, 40,000, 41K. That's why we see these relevant levels tie up very nicely with the round numbers that we see at 38 and 41. A couple of things I want to look at in terms of the indicators. We've got our 50 RSI being respected quite nicely at the moment. So that means usually when we are trending above the 50 RSI, we are in a bullish cycle, which meaning we could probably expect some upside potential. And where we are trending below, we can expect some downwards potential where we're trending below the RSI for quite some time. And that correlates very nicely with this level or this downtrend that we saw on the 4-hour time frame. And as we are trending above the RSI, it coincides nicely with this uptrend on the 4-hour time frame. So just market cycles doing their thing, and it's really, really beneficial for you if you're using the RSI indicator to really put the 50 on there, because it is going to give you way more information than just having the RSI on its own. Just by adding one little line in between will give you so much more info and so much more confluence, I guess, for upwards potential or downwards potential. But Steamroller giving us the signal for the top at that level of supply. So right now we're in limbo. We're in a waiting game. I'll put Gravy Train on there to give us an idea of the direction of Gravy Train. Now, if you're not familiar with Gravy Train, it is an indicator that Unity Trading Group has been developing for about 19 months. Just over 19 months now. It was 18 months when we did do our beta test. Thank you all for participating, in that from the Discord. So if you're not part of the Discord, go down to the description, and jump in the Discord and get involved in that fantastic community we have rolling in there. And that's where you'll find most of the updates on Gravy Train coming through. Gravy Train is set to launch this month. We will release pricing and availability and everything like that over the course of the month. But in terms of the way it works, we're usually looking at a sloping uptrend in the green and a sloping downtrend in the red and a no trade zone in the gray. So it really gives us an idea on the market direction, and it gives you confidence in your levels of TA. So if you're looking for a break or a resistance, resistance target, should I say that, if we're buying off demand and looking for supply, you can get the most confluence out of this, because it will turn green and it will tell you that we are still in a trajectory to the upside. And then of course the clouds will form levels of support and of course levels of resistance if you look left and correlate your levels of resistance with the upper cloud bands on the green and the red. So at the moment, if we come down and we were respected on the cloud of Gravy Train, we gave us a long signal as well. So if you're looking at a lower time frame scalp, that would have been a nice one too. And we're looking for a movement to the upside, potentially back to that 41K level of supply. We are not changing our bias until we are breaking back into the cloud structure for Gravy Train, and that will turn the Gravy Train indicator gray, and that means indecision in the market or a potential reversal. So it really tells you to stay out of the time frame that you're trading at the moment, and of course watch the market for potential reversals or movements to the downside. A basically change in market cycle, change in market structure, where we are going from the upwards momentum to a downwards momentum, and you are looking for levels below that. We broke through the cloud again. We are under the cloud, so you're getting short signals. Obviously nice for scalping in this instance, and then back above the cloud at the moment to really give us a decision on which direction we're going to go. Gravy Train initially was built for a lower time frame, so 1 hour, 30 minute. It will give you way more signals, and of course a lot more opportunity on these time frames to give you trades. And of course it's nice and accurate on the 1 hour and below. So we're really excited for everyone to have a go at this, have a play. We're really excited to take in some of your feedback, and of course development will continue over the course of the next few years with Gravy Train. As we receive some of your feedback, we will develop Gravy Train and make it better and better and better. But anyway, Gravy Train giving us that respected cloud, and of course we are looking towards that 41K level of supply at the moment for BTC. If we are to break down and get our close below this demand and below this trend line, the next level that really stands out to me is the 78.6, and that resides around 34K. Not saying any more than that at the moment though. We are still looking at the 50 and 61 being relevant areas too, from swing low to swing high. So 50 and 61 definitely relevant, but if we're looking at levels of demand and supply, specifically demand, I'd be looking around that 78.6. And what I'll do just before we move on, I'll get that a little bit easier to see as well. I'll fix that. Anyway, moving on. Ethereum USD. So something that I was looking towards for ETH, I'll get rid of this. This was just an example that I did in the Discord, but we're looking at this level of demand for ETH. Now, this is a little bit of a different scenario for Ethereum because we have a broken level of demand that is quite significant, and it usually does mean a movement to the downside. So whether or not this translates across to BTC USD as well remains to be seen. We could have a double top scenario, of course, on the $41,000 supply on BTC. That's still on the cards. If we haven't broken that level of supply, we are still looking at that scenario. But I didn't speak about that specifically, should I say. But if we are looking for levels above for our, let me apply defaults here. There we go. That's better. If we're looking for level of supplies above us for ETH, the most relevant levels are 1720. I still can't believe it's where we're at these levels for ETH. But 1720 is that level of supply currently, where we've had this bounce off this level here. So what this mainly would reside to, or would mean, is if we draw our level of Fibonacci into ETH, let's go from swing low relevant swing low to swing high. There we go. So we're looking at a bounce off the 50 fibs and of course a close above the 38, which coincides nicely with our level of demand there. So whether or not we are going to come down for Ethereum remains to be seen, but what I'm looking at is the same sort of trajectory as BTC, where we are looking towards that 1720 or even this cluster of candles to the left hand side between 1680 and 1720. A little bit of a broader range there, but it will coincide nicely with the liquidity that we have to the left for Ethereum so far. Now, LTC USD not doing too much in the way of the charts and the price action, excuse me. So if we clean this chart up a little bit, we get all of these lines out of the way and we'll see where we're at. So I'll draw in the most relevant level of demand. There we go. It's this swing movement here. So we've got a pivot point at this point, which coincides nicely with that red candle, giving us a perfect level of demand. So that's where we've bounced off so far, but we're not getting the relevant, volume into this coin or into this market to push us like we have BTC or like we have ETH. A little bit less on LTC, which is understandable. That movement or that double top scenario, or even a triple top scenario, or double top for this current movement, is on the cards for LTC as well. If we do get some volume into this, if we do get some volume to push us back up to 160, it could be a double top event, and then we could come down and retest some of these levels down here, specifically 132. But until that happens, it's not giving us a lot more information than that. The only thing we have done is we have fallen to a relevant level of demand, and we have not gotten any volume to subsequently push us in the level or in the direction that we are looking for. So this could be a lower high if we do see it come up, and then it could smash through this for LTC. It remains to be seen. We'll throw on Gravy Train. Gravy Train's still in the green. However, our moving averages, or our custom moving averages, should I say, are squeezing up, and we could have this scenario here where the faster moving averages crosses below, and this could be the event that moves us through this and then into the cloud structure again for LTC. If we are moving down on the lower time frames with Gravy Train, you could probably see a little bit more up-to-date information where we are in the no trade zone, or specifically the reversal or change of market direction area for Gravy Train on LTC on the 1 hour. So it's an interesting one. We'll keep an eye on this. Another one that we look at is ADA USD or ADA BTC at a critical level. If I look at the BTC specifically, I've been looking at this a little bit in my own time. So on the daily time frame, we've got ADA BTC at this very, very high quality level of supply, where it's a massive market pivot point, and adding fuel to the fire, it is on the 1 day time frame. So it is very, very high quality, and it's going to take a lot of volume to push ADA through this. It can do it, absolutely can do it with all the bullish sentiment around ADA, but it remains to be seen. And if we're drawing in the most relevant level of demand, it is back down at 1200 sats. It is a little bit of a while away though, so we are looking at a 30% movement to the downside, but it can be done. We've seen it before. Altcoins do this. But in more relevant terms, I'd be looking at the USD chart, which I usually do use to trade ADA, and we are knocking on the door of the negative 78.6 Fibonacci, where we have been rejected once before. Look, I think it's going to be very heavily tied to the BTC pair. If we fail again at this level of supply on the BTC pair, it's going to drag the USDT pair down with it, and I do suspect we will have some Fibonacci levels on the way down, and that would be 38.2, 50, and of course 61 being the area that coincides the nicest with our liquidity to the left hand side there. So always interesting with ADA. Keep it on your radar. It keeps you on your toes. But Gravy Train shining very, very brightly on this chart, with a number of long signals down at 35 cents, and then still giving us long signals at 67 cents, which is about 100% move from Gravy Train. So hopefully you guys are as excited to play with this as we are. Next one, the BTC dominance chart. Now the BTC dominance chart is one that I've been looking for. We haven't seen the price action come to fruition yet. However, we have still bounced quite violently off this level of demand down here. We are getting the dual long signals now off our steamroller indicator, and our levels of our moving oscillators, more specifically CCI RSI, are quite low as well. So a bounce to cool off the BTC dominance chart is in order, in my opinion. If we are scrolling back into the 4-hour time frame and drawing in our swings, so swing high to low, of course we've been rejected on the 38, but it is something I'm keeping on my radar, and more so because of that longer term macro scale 1-day chart. We can't relentlessly fall forever. It does need to cool off. Money needs to move around the market, of course, so keep that on your radar as well. And of course, if we are starting to get a movement to the upside to test more these upper levels of fibs, you need to be mindful of that, and it will affect the altcoin charts and trades that you have active on the altcoins. Last one for this evening, a little bit of a longer update tonight, getting very well into it on this Monday evening. First thing before I start, DXY is a regulated market. This is not financial advice, just ideas and opinions of UTG. We've been following the DXY to the T for the last couple of weeks. Let me get rid of that fibs. So we've been looking at this level of demand, and of course it's coming to fruition as we speak, where we've had this movement come down from our 91.5 level that we've had drawn in for quite some time, and then of course bounce off our level of demand at 91 even. So a nice movement by the DXY. We are looking at the 50 RSI being broken through as we speak. So if we are to expect this bounce to continue, I would be looking towards this 91.5. However, we do have a level of resistance just ahead of us, I guess, which is around that 91.23, where we find some liquidity to the left, some support resistance flips, and of course the liquidity immediately to the left just here. So if we are to look at a level in between us and the level at 91, we'd be 91.9, 91.5, we'd be looking at 91.3, and that would more than likely correspond with a level of fibs, and it does the 50 Fibonacci as we speak. But if I draw in the level the right way round, so swing high to swing low, yeah, it corresponds pretty much the 50 and the 38 at 91.2. So these are the fib levels that we need to break through to the upside to really gauge whether or not we're going to continue. And the most likely outcome, or the most respected level of fibs, is going to be, of course, the 38 as we speak, and of course the 61. If we do break above the 61, I'll be looking back towards this 91.5. But thank you all for joining me tonight. It's been a longer video than we usually do, but I feel it was necessary. There was a lot to cover. Fantastic to be back. A brand new week, a lot of new opportunities arise. Thank you all for joining. Thank you to all our new subscribers, new people in the Discord. Welcome to the family. And of course, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.